floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, when the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story. Watch the layers break down, making waves just to fade away without trace remains, trace of vain. Back to the place it came, learning about the ancient ways through word of mouth. And if I traded places, I'd be working plows before we turn this fertile ground to a working power station in the outskirts of town, rearranging all the earth around us. Nature at the mercy of the will of man, building dams to fulfill demand and assert what's ours. We count it down to the milligram. The city's anthem is an engine rumble. We lend a humble hand to anyone with answers in this gritted struggle, full of twitching muscles and addicted hustlers. The seed of urban life is mercantile, spraying herbicide beneath the purple sky. Internalized decay because it hurts to verbalize, so we avert our eyes, burn the hides and wait for everyone we know to disappear like the early minds. From the highest peak to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story. From the highest peak to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story.
Though the glow glare, getting high going nowhere. Most don't care unless it jeopardizes their own shared homes where the heart was. Stone steps and garden plots, half a generation owing debt for apartment blocks, selling ourselves for market cost. Cop the margin loss, then join the armed forces to march it off. Can't be stopped, but I'd rather not start at the marksman's shot. Human race always last across. They rape paradise to put up the parking lots. Nature sacrifice, take away appetites, happy lives advertised. I'm not that surprised, fatal baits strategize, stalemates analyze, stay awake, have to rise, fail state of mind in effect, mistakes that define our success. Life and death, space and time to reflect, thinking outside the fence, coming live and direct.
From the highest peaks to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story. From the highest peak to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story.
Everything falls apart. Everything falls apart.
Yeah.
But you live for the future.
In this dystopian metropolis, where home is where your offices, and hope is just the opposite to loneliness and broken promises. We don't stop and listen, often in the fog of thinking, overlooking godliness and what is so obvious.
They wanna know what it is, gotta grow confidence to ask why. Cast iron opulence to pass by, and fast life, cars flying down to earth, farms dying out of worth, don't know how to work, heard they aren't
Behind
trying.
the dark horizon, stars are hiding, cause the carbon rising faster than the Arctic ice. To archetypal art of denial, carved in the martyr's likeness, while the artist tries, partially biased without the writers to depict the master virus. We're sick,
But can't describe it, I wish to harmonize my heart and mind to exist. Target sublime, finding bliss.
the final twist.
Led by the blind, giving insightful tips, but science of self-realization is the vital gift.
The city is alive, like a colony, as busy as a hive. Our philosophy is living to survive as a common bee. But if the minerals it mines to continually thrive are intrinsically relying on the common bee's misery, then I just gotta say that it's not for me. Said if the city is alive, like a colony, as busy as a hive, our philosophy is living to survive all the cycles of ecology. From the highest peaks to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story. From the highest peak to the planet's core, from the wild seas to the desert floor to the bright cities, looking quite pretty at the edge of dawn, where the night meets the day in these dying streets that tell a story.